Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user OldLinks4319. Am I the a-hole for tricking my ex into admitting to her affair? Pretty much the title. I felt something was off, so I went through her phone and found messages between her and a male friend that seemed suspicious, discussing meeting up when she'd never mention it to me, flirting, talking in coded language about sex, etc. There was nothing overt, but still pretty sketchy. I figured she'd just lie and bury things deeper if I confronted her, and she was actually cheating. So I set up a fake Instagram account and sent her a message saying I knew she was effing her friend, had the receipts, and was going to contact her partner in 3 days whether or not she confessed. The next day, she sat me down and admitted to cheating, but wouldn't tell me who it was or how long it had been going on. She was sorry, she loved me and wanted to make things work. It meant nothing, blah blah blah. I told her that I already knew and that it was me who had sent her the message. My ex lost it and I had to leave the apartment and go stay with a friend to get away from her. She was gone along with most of her clothes when I came back the next day. She'd completely trashed the place while I was gone. This all happened a few weeks ago and it has been pretty tough ever since. It sucked having to find a new place to live and separating our stuff while dealing with feeling like crap. To make it worse, I'd met the guy several times, shaken his hand, bought him a drink, I thought he was harmless, etc. Mostly, I feel like an idiot for having trusted her. I've never cheated on anyone and I assumed my ex was cut out of the same cloth. Now, my ex is adamant that I'm an a-hole for what I did to her, but I don't really feel like I owe her anything. I don't know, am I the a-hole here? No, OP, you're not the a-hole for tricking her into confessing. The only thing that could be up for debate if it is in a gray area or not is going through her phone. And I mean this because regularly you wouldn't do that if you trusted your partner. But she was acting sketchy and all of that and you went through her phone. So that would be the only negative point on this. The rest about tricking her into confessing because you knew she was cheating? No, that doesn't make you an a-hole. Now her being all upset with you, that's just her trying to deal with her own guilt. She's the a-hole in this situation. She's the one that cheated on you. And now she's angry because, well, you got her to confess using a fake Instagram account. She must feel like an idiot. Like a cheating idiot. So no, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Dutug says, quote, my ex is adamant that I'm an a-hole for what I did to her, but I don't really feel like I owe her anything, end quote. For what you did to her? Wow, she's desperately trying to find an offensive position when in reality, she's victim blaming. I applaud you for what you did, which was to catch her cheating and call her out. Guess the other dude can continue making his deposits because she's morally bankrupt. You should send him a celebratory bottle of wine as a gift for getting her out of your life. Does the other guy know she's a cheater? If not, there's a future r/petty revenge story here, not the a-hole. And OP responds, yeah, he knew about me. We'd met on several occasions and he'd been introduced to me as a friend. He's just as gross and morally bankrupt as her. They deserve each other. I don't really feel like I need or want any revenge. I just want her out of my life. Holy Darkness 117 says, not the a-hole. She is mad that she fell for such an obvious trick. That's why she is shifting blame and trying to avoid accountability. Not only was she caught, but she was tricked into spilling the secret, lol. I bet she was red with embarrassment, thinking she can drum up this half-ass, sorry I cheated on you speech to see if she can manage to salvage her security blanket, only to realize you set up the whole thing. God, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall just to see her face when you told her. 3 laughing emojis. Don't feel like crap, bro. Cheaters are scum. Yes, they are. And whatever guy she cheated on you with probably won't even take her seriously because she cheated, lol. Bet once he finds out that you know, he ghosts her ass so he doesn't have to deal with her either, lol. Emulsified Watermelon says, not the a-hole. My ex-husband blew up at me when I tricked him into confessing his affair. I can laugh about it, sometimes, 10 years on. And Lucky Avocado 4647 says, not the a-hole. She is just trying to shift blame to feel less crappy in her own mind for her decision to cheat. She is trying to justify it. I'm sure she is telling her friends, can you believe him? He pretended to be another person online to get me to admit that I was cheating. What an a-hole. Ugh. Be glad she is out of your life and you didn't marry her. Some people are just crappy. They deserve each other. And OP responds, I planned on proposing next year. Glad this went down before I got any more invested than I already was. Additional information from OP's comments. We'd been together for 4 years and had joint bank accounts, a cat, FYI, my furry little dude is safe and sound with me, a car, furniture, etc. It's not easy to untangle all of that unless you're willing to talk. Still, I plan to block her everywhere once we get everything sorted out. She's a disgusting person and I have no interest in carrying on a friendship or entertaining the idea of getting back together in the future. After what I saw on her phone, I was going to leave her anyway. If she wasn't already effing the other guy, she was well on her way to doing it. If I had thought there was any hope for the relationship, I would have taken a different approach. But after telling her, I thought it was better to just take the cat and leave so she could have her meltdown without pulling me into the drama. She's been violent in the past, things like slapping me, refusing to let me leave when she wanted to argue, she really likes to argue, or trying to kick down doors when I've tried to get away from her. She didn't kick holes in the walls or anything, she just made a mess. All my clothes were pulled out and thrown around the place, and she'd knock things over. It took a couple of hours to get it cleaned up, but she hadn't destroyed anything valuable. After that final conversation, her BS was no longer my BS, and there wasn't anything in the apartment that I couldn't replace. Also, there's no point punching the gastropod she was cheating with. I'd just be giving my ex ammo for whatever narrative she's cooking up. It'd be like punching someone for taking out your trash for you. The ugly little maggot did me a favor. And honestly, I don't care about her feelings, but I do care about my own conduct. I felt bad about being dishonest and manipulating her. So the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and it's a good thing that he found out when he did because he was getting ready to propose in a year. Yikes. In any case, this story doesn't end here. There is 2 more updates, so let's move on with the first one. So I think my original post must have been shared on Facebook or something because my phone has been blowing up. It's mostly mutual friends and acquaintances asking if I posted it. I'd told a few people about how I caught her cheating and guess it wasn't hard to put 2 and 2 together. My ex also tried to call me about 100 times. I know she knows my throwaway username because she sent me a screenshot of the post along with a long abusive message threatening all sorts of things. I blocked her everywhere after that. Still, I want to clear a few things up. Going through her phone was wrong, I get that. To be honest, it's the first time I've ever done anything like that in a relationship, and it was only because there were so many things that gave me bad vibes. E.g., late nights out with vague explanations, being caught in various lies, sleeping with her phone under her pillow or leaving it face down on the charger, etc. When I left the apartment, it was because my ex has a history of violent histrionics when she doesn't get her way. I didn't want to put myself in a compromising situation where she could either hurt me or make up stories about me hurting her. I had a bug out bag packed and ready to go before I hit send on the message just in case. Also, she didn't do any real damage to the apartment, just threw my stuff around while having a tantrum. It took a few hours to clean up and nothing valuable was damaged, so I figured it was easier to just let it slide. I had to stay in contact with her while we divided up our joint finances, furnitures, and various other stuff accumulated over a 4-year relationship. As of yesterday, that's all done, which is why I waited several weeks to make the initial post. She is now blocked everywhere, and yes, I took the cat with me. We've both been crashing at my friend's place while I look for a new apartment. He's doing great. He was always my pet anyway. My ex tolerated him at best. I told my ex that I was the one who sent the message because I wanted her to know. I suppose I could have played that hand differently, but I wanted the satisfaction of seeing the look on her face when she found out. It didn't feel that great in hindsight. I'd probably go back and do that differently if I could. I wasn't planning on airing her dirty laundry on social media. Does Reddit count? Because I wanted to be above that sort of juvenile BS, but it seems like the horse has bolted on that now. People know. I don't think there'll be much else to update on after this. I don't intend to ever speak to her again, and I doubt her ugly little man has the backbone to come after me. Janet, I know you're reading this. I hope you also read all the comments in the first post. They were savage. You're disgusting, and I am so glad I was able to see your true colors before I wasted any more of my life on you. Good luck with the pathetic goblin you chose over me. I don't know if I should feel more sorry for him or for you. In any case, people of your quality deserve to be together. Oh, and Adam, she's all yours now, buddy. Good luck with that. So apparently the cat's out of the bag and OP's social circle and the ex-girlfriend's social circle know about everything. But it doesn't end there, we have the final update, so let's finish the story with that. Holy crap, where to begin? Some things have happened since my last update. Yesterday, while I was out, my ex-girlfriend Janet showed up at my buddy's place with a box of my stuff and asked to see me. He said she looked like crap. He also said she had a fat lip. I have to admit that I almost caved and called her to see if she was okay. I'm glad I didn't. My ex's sister, Hannah, texted me and asked if we could talk. We always got along and I have no issues with Janet's family, so I called her after I got home. We talked for about an hour. She wanted to apologize for her sister's behavior, but she also told me about some of the things that have been happening over the last few weeks. Janet has been staying with her sister since we split, and Adam, the guy she was effing, has been coming around regularly. They got into a huge fight yesterday, and Janet lost her crap at Adam. Hannah had to pull her off of him, and Adam's elbow connected with my ex's face while he was trying to get away from her. Turns out, he's not single, and his girlfriend found out about Janet. It also turns out that my ex wasn't his only side piece. After Hannah kicked him out, my girlfriend spilled her guts. She's been lying to her family about everything. She told them that I cheated and she broke up with me. Hannah said that my ex had confided in a couple of her friends about the way she got caught out. One of them saw the original Am I the A-hole post and sent it to her since the details lined up almost exactly. Her friend must have shared the post with other people too, and from there it kind of snowballed. Hannah also said that she's given my ex a 2-week notice to find somewhere else to stay. So that's it, I guess. I see this as an absolute win. Although there's a part of me that feels sorry for her so thoroughly effing up her life. I used to love her. At the same time, she's trash and I'm glad that her and her ugly goblin of a lover have wrecked their own crap. I'm pretty sure she showed up at my friend's place to see about a second chance. All of her options fell through, so she was hoping to manipulate me into fixing things for her. I'd rather F a cheese grater than get back together with her. I know I'm still angry and I'll get over it one day. For now, I'm just sticking to cutting her out of my life. She doesn't deserve my time or attention. So it wasn't just F around and find out, it's also when it rains it pours. She wasn't the only side piece and she lost it when she found out. Sucks to be Janet, I guess, but OP, yeah, you'll get over the anger someday and you'll just forget about her. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I Overreacting, and it's by user CulturalMine8053. Am I overreacting for reconsidering my entire relationship after a single conversation? I, 33 male, have been with my girlfriend, 31 female, for 12 years. Last night, we had an argument about one of my friends. This is not a new friend. I met her a year ago through a food drive my church held and have mentioned her name pretty regular over the year. Granted, her name is much more common amongst men, so for argument's sake, her name is Charlie. Last night, I mentioned Charlie and that she was going to head around on Sunday morning to pick me up for church. Girlfriend's atheist, because our car is in the shop. My girlfriend hit the roof, going on about how this was not okay, that she's probably just trying to get me to cheat on her. I was genuinely stunned, firstly because I find it incredibly hard to believe that in a year, I've never mentioned Charlie's a woman. Secondly, when did this become an issue? My girlfriend plays a social sport. The sport she plays is primarily played by men, so the club she plays for has 1 women's team and 4 men's team. Saturday nights, after they play, they all head to the club rooms and get drunk. She has friends that play on the men's team, and I've never had an issue with those friendships. Anyway, I had this moment while I was lying in bed last night. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Not to the level she got to last night, but I've lost friendships over the years because she's put an idea in my head about them, so I drifted away. Even right at the start of our relationship, I was adamant I wanted to embark on a military career. Within 3 months, I'd pulled my application because she didn't like the thought of me being in a barracks at basic training with maybe 3 women. Controlling is the only word that comes to mind. Am I overreacting that within 24 hours of this blow-up, I'm ready to walk away completely? Well, OP, you mentioned in your post many other instances that you just put together now, so it isn't just this moment or this fight that has you thinking things. You mentioned that since the start of your relationship, she's been controlling. And it's kind of like this fight over your friend Charlie or what her intentions are is the straw that's breaking the camel's back. So no, OP, I don't think you're wrong you're over rethinking things because of this one thing, because it isn't just this one thing, it's the whole relationship. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. OK Analyst 5801 says, it's not the blow-up that caused you wanting to leave. The blow-up made you look back and notice a series of situations that had caused you to look at your relationship and her differently. Now that you've noticed it, it's hard to unsee this behavior. You should talk to her first. Bring up all the situations where you have had to give up friends and the situations where she hasn't, and make it clear that you need this to change. Her reaction will point you in the direction you need to go. And OP responds, thank you, really good advice. The thing is, since I posted, I've basically gone through everything that's happened in our lives. There are literally hundreds of these little situations where I wanted to do something and she would put a bad idea in my head about it so I wouldn't go through with it. I feel like I've missed out on so much stuff I wanted to do. Traveling being a big one too. Always wanted to go see the world. She didn't, so I haven't. Yet. Putrid U 6064 says, perhaps it's the one-on-one time with said friend that she doesn't feel comfortable about. She's hanging out with those men in a group setting. And FewCoat 1297 says, some people will want to make you think the worst of your girlfriend here, saying she's the one cheating and pushing it back on you. Maybe, but it's far more common if she is cheating that she's more distant, hides her phone, doesn't initiate sex, etc. So think on those. You want us to get inside your girlfriend's head on this with very little. The first thing that struck me was, did you ever say Charlie was a girl, or did she find out by accident? The second thing I noticed is you are together 12 years and not married. Maybe make sure you both are on the same page about this. Finally, clearly she is operating a double standard in her socializing with men and this, so she needs a clear reminder of the same. OP's edit. Well, that escalated. Thanks for everyone's input. I'll add some context for people here. The not married thing. She hates the idea of marriage because she doesn't believe a woman can just be given away from one man to another. I have no issues with this. Then, people saying I omitted that Charlie was female to hide it. I went back through my texts with my girlfriend. There are multiple times I've mentioned Charlie's a woman. The first one I can find is December 10th, 2023. My girlfriend asked me who's going to a planned church lunch. I responded, Michael and Alex are coming. They got a sitter for Noah last minute. Charlie can't. She's doing the food drive with the new guys. Still haven't heard from Seb and Liam. She's known Charlie's a woman for 9 months. Finally, I'm not a devout Christian. My faith is important to me, but my church work is mainly to help the community. Alright, so the community didn't agree or disagree with OP on him overreacting or not, but they did urge him to think about this before taking any decisions. Apparently, OP has, and we have an update. So let's move on with that to see how this story ends. Never expected my post to blow up the way it did. To those who took the time to give constructive advice, thank you. To those that create imaginary situations in their own heads to justify their position, you guys are weird. The last week has been nothing but chaos. Sunday morning last week, I told my girlfriend that I wouldn't be getting a ride to church with Charlie, but that we needed to talk when I got back. I sat in church just thinking about everything that had been flooding into my head for the 36 hours prior and what I needed to do. I sat down with her when I got home and started talking about how her reaction to a very simple thing that had no ulterior motives and was just a friend being helpful had set off a chain reaction that was making me reconsider our relationship. I explained in excruciating detail all the little things that I had not pursued, the friends that I'd lost because of her insecurities and constant guilt tripping. She cried and tried to guilt me even more by saying that my relationship with Charlie was hurting her because my girlfriend can't have kids when Charlie can, even though I've never expressed interest in having children. I finally see through her lies and deception. It's all a smokescreen to keep me in check. I left her. I've been crashing on a friend's couch for the last week. Not Charlie's. I've wanted to go see the world for as long as I can remember, and I'm finally getting started. Got myself a one-way ticket to London. I fly out in a week. See where I end up. P.S. I was never interested in Charlie. She's a friend, nothing more. Well, OP, I guess you were proven right. As soon as you told her that you had some things to talk about, she tried to guilt you again with some weird story about children, which you apparently never had any interest in anyways. So, bon voyage, OP. Have fun on your trip. Take care and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.